I went online to become a private detective. It was a private detective school online, and I paid online. And I never heard from them again. I thought to myself, I either got ripped off, or this is my first case. This is a journalistic podcast, Shannon. We vaccinate our listeners with answers. And I'm going to keep lip-syncing the important questions until TikTok gives me a show. Shannon, how can the moon landing be real if the moon itself is fake?
That's not true, Mike.
Oh, isn't it true, Shannon? You're fake. You're a hologram.
1 in 5 New Yorkers are food insecure. What's your solution for that, Mike?
Fortune cookie. Because that's food and advice at the same time. Shannon, at least have the decency to backstab me, okay? You stab me in the front every time. Some fans can't watch the podcast because they're triggered by our sexuality. And message to those fans, we will leak a sex tape right into your mouth.
This is Mike Vecchione Investigates.
And you're not better than me. Welcome to another episode of Mike Vecchione Investigates. You guys are looking for hot episodes, and we have them on tap for you right now. It's a holiday episode. We're taping this on July 3rd, and we're getting ready for the big holiday. You know, getting ready for bottle rockets and, to a lesser extent, sparklers and other kinds of fireworks. Illegal fireworks. We're dangerous here at Gas Digital. And we appreciate you guys joining us. We love you. I don't think that I show you enough gratitude, and it reflects in our numbers. But I want to tell you, I'm pandering. If you could flash the word pandering across the screen right now in big red letters. We love you, and we want to be with you, and we want you to be with us. And you better not look at another podcast, okay? And we will separate you from your family, and we will isolate you financially. It's domestic abuse. We're using domestic abuse to keep you as a listener. That's the tenets of domestic abuse. Thank you for being here. We love you, and we will get you flowers and promise you to go dancing with you afterwards. But you will not look at another podcast, just us all the time. And it's a very special episode. I know sometimes I say that, but this one just gets you right in the heart. If you are following this podcast and you have any heart or emotion, this episode is exciting. Producing, we have young Natalie, who we not only convinced to stay, but we've convinced her to take on even more responsibility. Little girl's grown up. Little girl has grown up. She's producing, she's working the camera, which you guys are watching me on, probably from your basement, your dimly lit, sad basement. She's working the camera so this can all be happening. And where is Shannon? You're probably wondering. She's in the seat right across from me, and we're having an episode right now where Shannon Lee is here. She's not going to talk about ghosts. She's not going to talk about fighting. She's not going to be talking about bad dates. She is here, and she is on our terms now. And we will talk about whatever I guide us because of patriarchy and because it's my show. And Shannon agreed to step out of the producer's chair and come into the talent seat. I know she has her own podcast. I know it's exploding, but this is a chance for her to go outside of ghost hunting, to go outside of bad dates and hitting a person for no reason. So Shannon Lee, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. Am I going to be investigated?
You will be investigated, Shannon.
Oh, no. Okay. I'm ready.
Okay, well, let's start with some light banter to get you relaxed.
All right.
I want you relaxed for this, Shannon,
Okay.
because you're always so professional and you're so on top of things and you just know everything and you're ready for everything. And this, I want to lull you into a relaxation. Your vape is close.
It is.
And your phone is also close. Mm-hmm. And you have all of the things that make you feel comfortable. Yeah. And I want you comfortable because I want to try to break you down.
Okay.
Okay. We had a meal together the other day. Some people don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Me and Shannon had a meal together, and I said, Shannon, where do you want to go? And Shannon said, wherever you want to go. And after a series of innocuous texts that got us pretty much nowhere, I said, Shannon, pick a spot. And she said, because Shannon is a well-known vegan. She's come out vegan several times. And we don't eat the same foods. I'm a carnivore. I'm a man. Shannon's a woman. She's a vegan. She's searching for answers. I'm eating meat. She's questioning it. No one's judging each other when we have this meal together. So I ask, I get off the train, or the bus. I get off the bus and I'm looking for a place, and I walk past. I put vegan into my phone. My phone almost shuts down because it's not used to finding a vegan restaurant. I put vegan into my phone. I walk to. By the way, I guess this is the East Village.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is Alphabet City?
Yeah, or Lower East Side.
Lower East Side. It's just nonsense restaurants here. Oh, it's a dumpling hut. It's a dumpling hut. Oh, it's a small tacos with no seating inside. It's like, what hipster kind of dog shit is this? So I finally find a vegan place. I establish it first. I talk to the girl behind the counter because there's no waitress service, because that would be not hip if there was a waitress. So I talk to her and and then I text Shannon to make sure everything is going to be settled. I don't want Shannon getting there and being like, I can't eat this brand of tofu. And then Shannon walks over, and then we sit down and we have a sit down. Take it from there, Shannon, because we had a really good meal. And it turns out you had ordered from this place before.
Yes, I have. I've ordered like delivery from there before.
Yeah.
And I was so nervous because I feel like you're so staunchly a
Yes.
carnivore.
Yes.
And I didn't
And
want
I like real foods. Fake eggs, fake cheese. It bleeds like meat, but it's not. It's like, it's very suspicious to me.
Yeah, that's vegan places in this area. It's a lot of that, like the fake stuff.
Right.
But I was nervous about you hating any of it because you like meat so much. And that's why I was like, let's just pick wherever you want to go. And I can always just have like a salad or fries or something and just
Right.
make it easy.
But easy is not satisfying. I wanted you to be satisfied, Shannon.
And I was.
Yes.
I thought it was a great meal. And what did you think about it?
I thought it was really great. It surprised me. The fake eggs and tofu and pretend bacon all tasted very real to me. And I call it pretend to mock you, Shannon, and the vegan community. And you can write in. You can write in. Please, I dare you to write in.
I was really expecting for you that you were lying to me to my face that you liked it, and that you were saving it for the show to tell me how much you hated it.
Can I tell you what helped me enjoy it? I was so hungry by the time we actually ate that anything would have been delicious to me. And I was very satisfied with it. And I just didn't like the outside courtyard area because it was kind of thrown together.
Yeah.
And I also was trying to order something before you got there, so we would have a little table food to come out, like a gracious host or a friend. And she was like, we have to put everything into the register at the same time so the cook gets it. I'm the only person in there. I'm like, can't you just tell them and then charge me?
That is weird.
That's not the way it works.
Like,
the vegans follow the rules more than the rest of us.
I don't understand. Like, you couldn't even like run your card multiple times for this order.
I could have run it multiple times, but
see.
I found that to be insane.
Right. So
to multiple times, and it's more taxes.
So you really then just wanted to like run a tab.
Yeah, it's like we're the only ones there. It's like, can I put this order in, and then I'll put more in a little bit later? And it's like we're not set up for that. Right. You're not set up for that? You guys are a restaurant. How are you not set up for it? Because everything I punch into the register goes to the back. It's like, just, can you tell them? Can we do something off the books here? Or do you have to declare everything, the vegans? Speak for your own community, Shannon.
Okay, I'm split down the middle in how I feel about this.
Dating? Sounds like sexual? Split down the...
There's nothing sexual that's going to ever come from me. Just be prepared for that. But at first I feel like...
We talked about that.
We did. But first I feel like you wouldn't expect to like go into a McDonald's and be like, run a tab. Like, let me order a couple things and I'll come back and order a few more things.
Yeah.
So it is like a takeout place mainly. But also nobody else was there.
Yes.
It was just us.
Right, but you said the first thing to defend the vegan culture. Did you not, Shannon?
Yeah, I guess.
Yes, you did.
Or just this
because that's your community, and you're really dead set against anybody launching attacks against your community, right or wrong, Shannon.
That's not true, because I feel like vegans don't do ourselves any favors, and there are a lot of like very annoying vegans. Like when you read the articles about like, oh this vegan's neighbor is like barbecuing in the backyard, and the vegan's like, can you not do that, please? Because it's coming in through my windows. Like, that's obnoxious to try to run how other people live their lives.
Yeah, plus it's called,
that.
it's assaulting a vegan through osmosis.
Yes.
Osmosis is, it seeps in. It's a big word, Natalie, for our fans. Osmosis is a big word for you guys, and that's when the air seeps in. It seeps in. Natalie, that was a cue to bring up the definition of osmosis. A process by which molecules, we probably have to look up molecules after this, of a solvent tend to pass through a semi-permeable membrane, which is somebody's screened-in porch, from a less concentrated solution into a more concentrated one that equalizes in the concentrations on each side of the membrane.
That's a lot.
Wow. Oh my God. That is a nerd definition, is it not? You have to be a scientist to understand that. A semi-permeable membrane, that means a membrane, I remember this from science, that lets some things in and doesn't let other things in.
Very good.
Like a screen door. Lets in the smoke, but not the birds.
Yes. Natalie, thank you for chiming in there. Fresh out of college. Natalie really knows stuff. So you think those vegans are disgusting, and they give the rest of the quote-unquote normal vegans a bad name, Shannon?
Yes. That's why, like, everyone, when you say you're a vegan, like, my friends are used to it now. I feel like it is becoming like more mainstream, but for a while there, it's like you say you're vegan and everyone's like, oh, rolling eyes and whatever.
Yeah.
But I really try not to impose it upon other people.
Yeah, and plus, that's not the centerpiece of your identity, correct? Is that the difference? It's not the centerpiece of you don't lead with it.
No.
Hi, I'm Shannon. I haven't had sex in 5 years. I work at Gas Digital. I have a wonderful podcast. Vegan is like the 5th or 6th thing that you say.
Yes. I'm a cat owner.
You're a cat owner?
Yes.
You do not like bugs?
No, hey, bug. There were a lot of bugs when we were eating at that place.
There
Lots
were
of
a lot of
flies.
bugs. And was that distracting to your meal? You wanted to kill the bugs, but you didn't want to eat meat. Is there hypocrisy there?
So there are certain bugs that
don't have feelings.
I don't know, but I feel like this is maybe an elitist view, but I feel like ugly bugs I feel less bad about their deaths than less ugly bugs.
Yeah. So
like, you can't go around killing butterflies. That's insane.
Right. But you
like,
can kill a moth. That's a butterfly without makeup.
It's still like I'd still feel bad, but like the big city monster bugs, I don't like the names of them.
Yeah.
Like those, you kill them all over the place.
Kill them all over the place because they're ugly.
Yes.
Because they're unfortunate looking.
Well, they're like terrorists.
Because they want to be popular and they want to be around people.
I know, because like they ruin everybody's life.
Mm-hmm.
There's no person that you see one in your apartment and you're like, yay. It's always like, oh God, I have to call exterminator. Everything's ruined.
You have to escort them out.
You
know what when there's a fly now, I realized how to do this. I get Windex and I shoot it out of the air.
Windex is the best thing out of household
things. Shoot it out of the
things.
air and then they dive and then you can kill it that way. Trying to swat it, it's like, unless you're a ninja kung fu master, you're not going to be able to do that.
It's also fun, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
You should bring that water gun that Kunal got you.
Yes.
You should put Windex in it, bring it home, and you can just like shoot them.
Oh my God.
That would be fun.
Defend my own home.
Yes.
And then I'll have to that's a defense of your domain.
Yeah.
I think that's legal.
Or we can go back to that place and then you just come armed next time.
Well, I don't want to do them any favors.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
They didn't. But overall, it was a very good meal.
It was very nice.
And I should do that more often for you, Shannon, because of all you do for the podcast.
I appreciate it.
You do a lot of work, and I don't know if the other podcasts appreciate you the same way, but I do.
I don't want to speak specifically about them in a negative way.
No, I don't want to speak in a negative way either.
No, but you're great. I really appreciate it.
I do like the other podcasts.
Yes. Ralph has taken, we go to dinner a lot. Like, he likes to try out different vegan places.
Right. Is Ralph also a vegan?
No, but because he dates like very young girls, they tend to be vegan. So. Oh,
so you're saying Ralph's not a vegan because he's a pedophile?
You said that.
Maybe we should.
I think he's fine with it.
You think he's fine with it?
You know, he gets it.
We'll know if I have a podcast next week.
Yes. But yes, that's why he tries out lots of new vegan places.
Okay. Well, that's fair. That's fair enough.
This smoke break is brought to you by YoDelta.com, the official Getting High sponsor of the Gas Digital Network.
Let's move forward, Shannon. You know what? Let's go. It's 15 minutes in. Let's go right to some news stories.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Natalie, are you ready?
I think so.
Okay. Groom goes viral on TikTok after wedding day prank. Beginning of the end.
Let me just open this really quick. So, would you like to see the prank itself first before we
No,
start?
I'd like you to just talk to me about it.
There
Okay.
are also like pictures of it through the steps. So you don't
Sure.
have to watch a video.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
there's pictures.
So this prank started with a bride and groom about to do like a cute little post vows thing where they both film themselves jumping into a pool and they're full.
Okay, so they're both
Oh.
in on the prank. They're both in on it.
However,
Well, it itself wasn't a prank. Like
Jump
they
into-
were like, we're gonna do this cute thing together.
Right.
Jump into a pool to that's like a that's a
yeah,
marriage.
like a photo moment for it.
Can I get the joke, Natalie?
Sorry.
That's like a marriage and a baptism at the same time, double sacrament. Okay. But something must have went awry when they were trying to do this cutesy Instagram-able moment.
It's true.
What happened, Natalie?
So,
Explain it to us like we're 5.
she's gonna jump in,
Right.
and they're both gonna jump in, and then at the last second, he sidesteps it, and she goes in the water in her dress, and he does not end up in the water. Here's a still from it. They're gonna go in, and then she ends up in the water, and he does not.
Okay, so he held back and he let her go in the water. And what was her response afterwards?
She seemed to be a good sport about it.
Right.
Like she was giggling throughout it, but then she sort of
No, so she
Notices.
was smiling when she emerged from the water because she didn't realize yet that he didn't jump.
Yes.
When she comes out and she sees that he's not in the water, she is not a happy person.
Yeah.
Understandably so. That's such a shitty thing to do
Right. And why do you think he did that, Shannon?
because he's trying to like be funny. I think for his friends maybe
Yeah, but maybe then he could jump in after her.
to save her.
Something like that. Just to be like, oh, it was funny for a second and then I'm gonna jump in to ruin my whole thing too.
Okay, that would
You know
make
what I
it
mean?
better. But also, like,
You
you're
know-
making a fool. Like, the bride is the star of the wedding,
Oh my
and like
God.
you're making a
Here we
fool
go.
out of her. This is true. Like everybody like sees it this way,
Mhm.
and you're making a fool out of the bride. Like I don't think that's acceptable behavior.
Shannon, you're very pro bride on this one.
Yes.
Okay.
Are you pro
But
groom?
what about the hilariousness of her being all wet and her thinking in her head that he's going to make that jump? Is that symbolic of the relationship? Like he's not really committed to it the way that she is. She's jumping into the life together with both feet ready to sink or swim. And then he's saying he's ready to do it, but he doesn't actually do it. Is that symbolic? Is that why it hits home for you, Shannon?
I think so. And I think what it really shows is that he puts himself before her.
Right.
Like he thinks it's better to put forward like, oh, I'm going to do this performance for everybody else instead of like enjoying this moment with his new wife.
Right. And do you think it's just kind of a mean humor where you're trying to score off of somebody
Yes.
else's embarrassment?
Yes, and if you
Is
want
that
to do this
something?
with your boys, that's okay. But you don't
Yeah.
do it to your wife on your wedding day.
Yeah.
Do you disagree with me?
No, I agree with you. I don't know where his humor is in that, but that doesn't, I'm all for funny. Funny wins the day. And that just seems like it's not that funny. It's like you tricked her and then she's kind of the butt of the joke. You
Right.
don't ever want her to be the butt of the joke there. Or if she is the butt of the joke temporarily, you also want to make fun of yourself.
Yeah.
So then you want to jump in. Or it's like maybe she comes around wet and pushes you in. Come around and push me in, like something else to where I'm the butt of the joke also, and then kind of we're both in this together.
Right. Or you like plan it with her beforehand where it's like, let's pretend to everybody that we're going to do this and then you step away.
Right.
So just I'm going in and then he's the butt of the joke. That's the better way to do it.
That sounds like less of a wedding prank, more of a one-man show type choreo, because it takes time and energy to choreograph that.
But he did it.
Right.
Are you saying she's not able to do it because she's a woman?
I'm not saying that. Women can be astronauts. Natalie, could you get a close-up of me? Women can be astronauts, and they can plan their own wedding pranks. They don't need a man or a male screenwriter in order to do that. And there is a writing strike. So maybe that's why he did it.
Maybe. No, he had to write it on his own.
Mm-hmm.
Would you ever think of doing some sort of prank? If
No,
you were
because
him?
I know comedy, Shannon. These people in the world, these people, they don't know comedy. I know comedy, and I know how most things will come off, and that's not going to come off. That's not going to come off well. It's like you got to do something where it's like if you trick her initially, then you somehow have to come and be the butt of the joke there, so that you both kind of got type of situation, and then everybody can have a laugh at it instead of some people having a laugh at your new wife.
Right.
Wouldn't it be great if he did that and then his boys were laughing at his wife being all wet and him not, and then him taking offense to it and fighting them? That would be a twist, right?
Yes. You know, it would be great
If she slept with the best man, like she just took off everything and slept with the best man in front of him at the pool. I think that's a niche of porn.
Or just reveals to him in that moment. It's like, joke's on you because I already slept with your best man. If she reveals it in that moment.
Right.
What I think a good way to...
And I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant with the best man's baby.
Yes, that's great.
Right. And we're going to have it underwater.
Right
Do you
here.
think that's symbolic?
That's good.
It's a good one.
Another way to save it would have been if her bridesmaids then walked around the pool and pushed him in.
Yes.
That would have been
but
a
that
good
would have had to
save.
been choreographed. Should she be mad at the bridesmaids for not doing that?
Yeah, I feel like that's like your
Her
job.
girls should have her back.
Yes.
Where's her maiden of honor?
Yeah.
Maid of honor?
Yeah, maid of honor.
Maiden. I used the long term. I like to go long form sometimes. The maiden of honor.
What if, as her bridesmaids approached to push him in, the groomsmen stood up in front of him, and then there was a battle amongst the wedding party?
Wouldn't want to be in that one because the sexes are equal.
That's right, but
Aren't
also
they?
way better.
But men
TikTok
can be
video.
stronger physically.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm on board with that, and I hope for them to be stronger.
I want to take a Disney turn on this, Shannon, and see what your thoughts are.
Okay.
Do you think he pulled this stunt so that he could see her in a pool wet to make sure she wasn't like half fish, like a mermaid?
Like Splash.
A mermaid situation like Splash. Splash was a movie in the 1980s, for those of you too young to vape. It was a movie in the 80s, and Tom Hanks fell in love with Daryl Hannah, and she was a fish. And women out there are pulling a stunt where they're mermaids, and they don't tell the groom. And this was a good way to figure out if she was a mermaid. Yes or no, Shannon?
It is. Well, maybe he should have done that before he married her.
What? Wait a second now. When is there a chance to do that? You never know.
Any day before, maybe during the engagement party.
Maybe he was like, let's go swimming, and something always came up. My sister's sick. My sister's sick.
Maybe.
And then so he had no choice but to find out if she was a mermaid, and this was the way to do it.
And so they like booked a venue, and he's like, there has to be a pool at the venue.
Or maybe he doesn't want to marry someone who can't swim. Would you ever think of that? Would you marry somebody who couldn't swim?
No, because like I can't swim very well, as
and
we know.
you need your partner to be able to swim, so you can see where he's at on this, Shannon. Yes, I'm really turning you. I'm turning you. At the end of this, you're going to be on my side of the argument and a lesbian. I will turn you.
Wouldn't it be
both
cool?
ways?
Wouldn't it be cool though to marry like a mermaid? That's pretty cool.
It's hard to make it work in your own species. I feel like when we start going into the whimsical, magical world of mermaids, it's harder to make it work. Do you think it makes it easier?
I think it would keep it interesting.
I mean, interesting doesn't seem to be the issue here.
I mean, like with Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah, which doesn't ever make any sense in the world, is that he can now just live in the ocean at the end of the movie. Spoiler
Because of
alert.
love. You're not factoring in love, are
Okay.
you, Shannon? You're not factoring in love. Love made him aquatic, and it does that to people sometimes. And you're just so caught up in your vegan world of outdoor vegan restaurants that don't have a waitress that you don't understand it.
How? Okay, imagine you fall in love
I'm
with
an
a mermaid.
investigator. That's why I ask questions.
No, I
You're asking
understand.
questions because you're a woman, I think. And women ask, are all women agnostic? Because there's always questioning.
Maybe.
I think so. It's a good point.
It is a good point. But wait, where were we going? Oh,
I took you off your train of thought.
you did. And I had another really great point. It's gone forever. But
No.
imagine now, and I feel like it's bad that we keep talking about this movie that everyone is probably too young to remember.
Yeah, they're too young to remember.
But okay, so at the end they fall in love. She's a mermaid. He's a regular person. And then everyone's chasing because everyone figures out that she is a mermaid.
Yeah.
So there's like cops coming and crew, like a
Paparazzi.
camera crews. And,
Yeah, paparazzi. Yeah.
And so she goes into the water to go back to her world, which for some reason she can't ever come back out again. She just now has to stay in the water forever.
Yeah.
And he decides to join her.
Yes.
And once they're together, he can now breathe underwater and it's fine. But now your whole life is like, what is that life? You're just swimming underwater.
Yeah.
There's no TV. There's no cell phones. That like, what do you do for fun? Like, what is your life now?
He's
they have
in
to
love.
fight all the time.
In the water?
Yeah.
You're looking at it from the this is a romantic comedy, and you're looking at it from a food chain.
No, I'm looking at
Type
it
of
from like
lens.
real.
Okay,
Like,
so he's gonna have a terrible life.
yeah. I would after like the first week or so of them probably just like banging a lot
Yeah.
because like it's their honeymoon phase.
But how can they have sex?
There
Probably differently through the gills.
there's got to be some sort of hole somewhere. I think.
The gills are the holes.
No, but how do fish have sex?
It's a good question, Natalie.
Externally, like one of them lays the eggs and the other puts the sperm over it. It's like less fun.
Oh, it's external.
Yeah.
So a
Depending
fish
on the
lays
fish,
the
yeah.
eggs first, and then the male comes in and spermicide. Not spermicide.
Basically.
That's killing the sperm. He fertilizes
Yeah.
the egg, and the woman puts it down, and then that's why there's no intimacy. That's why they have those dead eyes.
Huh. So, because I
That's
wonder.
why, like, when you're with somebody and you're like, that's an expression like, she was cold as a fish in bed, or he was cold as a fish.
I've never heard this saying before.
Natalie, have you ever
Cold
heard
as
that
a
saying?
fish?
In bed.
Like a dead fish in bed.
Dead fish in bed.
Yeah.
I was close, Shannon. But isn't dead fish a thing, Natalie?
Yes, dead fish.
Is
Dead
dead
fish is
fi-
definitely
she's a dead
thing.
fish in bed?
Yeah,
Yeah, not
meaning you're
cold
not
fish.
doing anything.
No, she was a cold fish.
Can that be the episode title? She's a
No,
cold
she was a
fish.
calamari. She was a fried squid.
So do you think that they ever tried having you had to have like if you're dating someone who could turn into a fish, you're gonna at least try to have sex while she's a fish
Right,
on land.
right.
Like when she's in the bathtub.
Maybe
she
he needs to
changes.
ask her. Remember they had that language where she was going,
Yeah.
and he was he would have to learn that language.
That's true too.
That's first of all. And then my first question in that language would be, how do we do this?
Yeah.
How do we have intercourse? And do we want to have intercourse? Because then we're just going to have fish, and they're going to
freak
get...
babies.
Yeah.
Who knows what the babies are going to be like?
Yes.
What if they come out with like a fish head and then like human legs? That's not good.
not
That's the
good.
worst case scenario.
That's a worst case scenario. And I think Family Guy did that.
I think
They
yes.
did that. Yeah, I saw that on Family. That's actually a good point. But God, there's a lot to think about with these mermaids. But maybe that was his motivation. Because you just opened up like a Pandora's box of problems if she was a mermaid. But
Yeah.
now it turns out she wasn't a mermaid. She's just angry
Yeah,
now.
so-
And is being an angry woman worse than being a peaceful mermaid?
I mean, I think so, but you as a man, what do you think?
I don't know, because as a peaceful mermaid, you just named all of the things that they would have to overcome in the,
Right.
in the sea. But as an angry woman, you could kind of win it back as a man, even though it depends how seriously the woman takes her wedding day. I mean, most women take it pretty seriously,
Right.
so you would have to overcome a lot by that. Maybe, do you believe in like a revenge prank in terms of like, let her get you
Yeah,
the same night? If you find out after that incident, because it's after the wedding, Natalie?
I think so.
After they had done their vows.
Okay, so it's he just promised a bunch of stuff, and it looks like he didn't mean any of it.
I agree.
Because it's all the actions, not the words. That's
Exactly.
what women always say
That's
to me.
correct.
Okay, so he loses it. She's furious now, and he needs to figure out another prank where he's the butt of the joke and not her.
But like she can figure out maybe something. I bet you their cake
Well, it's
ceremony.
time for them to come together. Like after that, I'm sure they're in a room. You get him in a room after she dries off
Mm-hmm.
and goes, "Hey, I didn't appreciate that. That was whatever." She just lets him have it, and he goes, "Okay, how we're still here in the wedding. How do we solve this?"
I mean, I bet the cake ceremony portion, she could have just like picked up the whole cake and like pied him to the face.
Okay, but does she want to turn? Does she want to turn the cake thing? Is also very like
I
it's
don't
a
like
part
it.
of the ceremony. But does she want to turn the cake thing into a hilarious comedy routine. It's part of her wedding. Isn't she just like ruining her own thing there?
I think
that means a lot.
she has taken it back. And who really eats cake at a wedding? Do people really eat it?
I do.
Oh, oh, so you got to try
because
Natalie's
I'm not
cake, by the
drinking,
way.
so the cake
I
and the
see.
cookie table are very big for me.
I see. So
And
you
I
would
know I'm
be-
low carb, but what I do is I go in on the cake, I go in on the cookie table hard, and then the next day I'll fast to try to bring it back to normal.
So that would really hurt your feelings if they started playing games with the cake.
Well, what they do is they usually cut the cake first now.
Really?
And I've been to 2 weddings recently, and they always cut the cake first now.
Get him an extra big slice, smush it right in his face. That way you're not messing up.
I don't know if
everybody
that's the
else's
same as
cake.
being dumped into a pool, Natalie. Is that the
No.
same thing? Is she saving face that way? How can she get revenge? I think sleeping with all of the groomsmen and putting it to Pornhub is a little extreme, Shannon. Would you agree? But I mean, he would learn his lesson. He would learn his dirty, filthy, sexy lesson.
But would he though? Because I feel like as a guy, he would then just like slut shame her.
And high five his friends?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think he would be that. He would be, I mean, he would be furious, wouldn't he, if he found that out?
I think so, but I don't think that that's gonna like do her any favors because
Right.
it's rarely gonna like make a guy be like, "Aw, bummer that like I really messed up." Now he's just gonna be like, "Oh, you bad word,"
Yeah.
and then maybe just they break up and then that's the end. And it all started because he pushed her in the water because he
Right.
thought she was a mermaid.
Yeah. Well, he found out that she wasn't, and he found out that was the wrong way to do it. And but if it was to check if she was a mermaid, I think that's not the worst thing. But he has to consideration the totality. He has to take into consideration the totality of what he did.
Right. Also, if she
But what's my question is, what's a good thing that she could do in order to save face and to feel whole again? What's a good thing that she could do at the wedding?
I don't know if like there, I can't think of anything because this moment, even though if their plan was to jump into the water, she must have like makeup people there and a change of clothes because
Right.
she was preparing to get wet.
Yeah.
So at least he didn't just like push her in the pool and this wasn't a plan.
Right.
But there's no way to like, you're not
I
going to.
mean, that would have been pretty crazy.
That would have been terrible.
If it was unplanned of pushing, because at that point, are you married or are you just like bowling buddies?
Yes.
You know,
And
it seems
that's,
like a thing to do that's funny with like
Boys.
teammates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's like, because then what's going to really embarrass a guy? Like, you're not going to mess up his makeup. He doesn't care if his hair is messed up. If he has a stain on his suit, he's not going to care.
I was gonna say some sort of pants situation where he comes out without.
He goes into
like
the cold
a-
water, comes out, and it's shrinked up, and everybody can see it.
That's good.
like an
It's
Emperor's
humiliating.
New Clothes situation, sort of thing.
A what?
Like the Emperor's New Clothes. Where
I don't know what that is.
It's like an old fairy tale where the guy comes out and they're like, "Oh, these are your perfect clothes. They'll get bigger when you put them on," and then the guy just comes out naked because he was unhappy with all the other clothes that they.
Natalie, you're doing a great job with sexy fables.
Thanks. It's the only sexy fable I know.
I mean, I think we lost our fans a little bit, and then you bringing that sexy fable back really brought them to life. They're listening, they're up, they're aroused. This is a wedding day prank that went wrong. Hopefully they'll be able to. Did Natalie? Did they figure out what the conclusion was to it? Were they going to move forward with a divorce?
It doesn't say. It just says that most of all the people saying that they're gonna break up were all comments who saw the TikTok video. She didn't actually. Make
Okay,
a
what if
comment
she
about
gets
it.
pushed in the water, swims to the other side, and files for divorce on the other side of the pool?
I say,
Would
warrant
that
it.
would that be a crazy ending to a TikTok?
And do you think like it's grounds for annulment?
I don't know. You're giving up on the marriage pretty quick, though. As the bride, you know, you got wronged, yes, but don't you go through pre-Cana where it's like, you're going to be able to forgive the person if they do something and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. Ideally, it's not the right way. He's wrong. It's the wrong way to start off a marriage, but do you think her immediately filing for divorce shows a lot of short-sightedness on her part, maybe? Not being able to let something go like this and see the bigger picture.
I will say yes, because chances are you're marrying him, you know him,
Yeah.
and this isn't the first like silly thing like this he's done.
Right.
Like this has to be like his personality.
Yeah.
Where like getting the laughs and performing in front of a crowd is more important than his wife's feelings.
Yeah.
And you decided to say yes and marry him, so it is kind of her fault also, I think.
Do you think divorce, they always say irreconcilable differences? And do you think in this case it would be the divorce is because of improv?
Yes.
Oh my God. That story kept on giving to us.
I bet you we raised the views of Splash rather, that like a
Yes.
bunch of people that have never heard of it. Natalie, have you ever heard of it?
Heard of it, never seen it though.
Yeah.
I bet-
Tom Hanks, Daryl Hannah, John Candy.
That's right.
Great movie.
Good one.
Great
And
one.
Eugene Levy.
Eugene Levy, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he was the guy who was trying to like find out.
Yes.
Yeah, he was like
Oh,
after.
just one more thing with
Yeah.
pushing her in the water to find out if she's a mermaid. Also, what a shitty thing for him to do to expose her in front of everybody. Don't you want to find it out like in private?
Well, you kind of want to expose her to everybody because she was lying to you the entire time. And why not open it up and be like, this is the reason we can't be together because you're half fish.
Maybe she was hiding her tail under her dress. And she was so angry because he did this in front of everybody and her cover was almost blown.
Do you think he was a pescatarian? Okay, that's enough. We did a good job. Look at me. We did get a close up, Natalie. We did a good job with that one. We covered every single angle, and that's what kind of professionals we are here at Mike Vecchione Investigates.
We did like 30 minutes.
We did. We really covered that, Shannon. That hit home for us. You know, we're romantics at heart here. I think. Would you say that?
I'd say that.
I'd
yes.
say that all of us are. Natalie, are you in on this, or are you just?
Yeah, I'm in
You're a
on this.
romantic also.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to the next story. Adults should never ever put this on a hot dog. Grow up, experts exclaim.
What do you think it is?
Ketchup.
Yeah,
You shouldn't put ketchup on a hot dog?
that's what they say in the article.
Oh, should we not fly our flags either? What is going on in this country? You shouldn't put ketchup on a hot dog? Is this a vegan study?
It is. Okay.
Is it the same people who want to stop these coal ovens in New York? They're anti-pizza, and these people sound like anti-tomato.
You want to hear
The
who's
anti-tomato
responsible?
lobby?
You want to hear who's responsible?
Yeah, I want to get down to the bottom of it, Natalie.
The quote is, if you can vote, it's time for your taste buds to vote for a hot dog without ketchup. NHDSC President Eric Mittenthal told the Post, and that acronym stands for the National Hot Dog and Sausage Council.
There's a National Hot Dog and Sausage Council.
There sure is, and this guy is very anti-ketchup. He says if you're a grown-up, you should not be putting ketchup on hot dogs. He said it's just for kids.
Shannon, do you put ketchup on your fake hot dogs that you got, that you have?
I am on board for ketchup, but
Yeah.
also like when given the opportunity, I'll put like everything on it.
Yeah.
Ketchup, mustard, relish, onions, like whatever is there, I'll
Yeah.
put it all on it. But if like I don't eat like fake hot dogs often, but a barbecue or something, if someone has them,
But can I ask you something? I hate to cut you off,
That's okay.
which I did. I'm an active listener and an empath. But do you eat hot dogs at a barbecue just in good faith? Like a fake hot dog to be like, I'm one of you guys. I'm one of the crew. To make it seem like you're in, but you're not.
I feel like it's just like something you're supposed to do at a barbecue.
Right.
So like I'll usually, it also just depends on whoever's throwing the barbecue. If they got me like fake burger, fake hot dog, it's
Yeah.
whichever one they have, I'll just eat
Do
that.
you feel honored?
I feel, yes, it's nice.
Yeah,
when
because they
somebody
went
thinks
out of their way to
me.
get you
Yes.
something, like somebody who meets you at a vegan restaurant.
Yes, I did appreciate that very much.
You did appreciate that.
Yes.
You did. You have a lot of gratitude, Shannon.
But I'm fine with putting whatever on it. But I don't like. It's weird if they're like on. They're like the national people of hot dogs and sausages.
Yeah.
Like
The National Council, Shannon.
I'm sorry.
Please don't disrespect the National Council of Hot Dogs and Sausages. And Natalie made it very clear that's what it was.
actually don't have respect for this national commission or whatever of hot dogs and
Because of your
sausages.
vegan background.
Yes, because I'm sorry to make this whole thing about vegan, but you keep pushing me to it.
I keep pushing you.
Pigs are such smart, adorable animals, and these people are just out to just kill all the pigs.
If you were dating a man and before you slept with him, he said, I have an award for my penis from the National Council of Hot Dogs and Sausages, would you be a little bit more curious to sleep with him? If he said that, and he actually did have an award. Shannon, I know you don't like to go too far too fast, but if he had a trophy case full of awards from the National Council of Hot Dogs and Sausages.
Do you think he would allow me to put ketchup on it?
She went there, everybody. For those of you thinking that Shannon wasn't going to go there, she went there. God, that was solid, Shannon.
So before that, if they're out to just sell hot dogs and sausages, don't you like not care? Like put whatever on it that you want as long as you buy them.
But isn't there a health reason for this, Natalie? There's a health reason for it, isn't there?
No, it's just a preference reason.
Oh, he's just saying it's childish to put ketchup on it?
Yeah, it says that like adults should have like a more refined palate than like some sweet
There's
junk.
a counter quote from the president of vice president of marketing for Sabret, the hot dog company.
Yes.
That says, we don't see too many adults doing it anymore, but if they do, it's totally fine. Do whatever floats your boat and puts a smile on your face this holiday and every day.
Not using ketchup on a hot dog is anti-tomato and therefore anti-Italian sentiment.
That's true.
Do you think?
I think
They're
so.
coming after us in a roundabout way?
Yes. And do you think this is like a, I said this earlier, but do you think this is like a big mustard stand? Like big
That's a
mustard
great
company?
point.
And they're like, stop using ketchup.
Yes. Because who's going to win in this, Shannon? Big mustard.
That's right.
Big mustard will win. And if you stop people from using ketchup, and can I say something? In all objectiveness, I use mustard. I never used ketchup.
Really?
I always use mustard. I like the tanginess. I don't like honey mustard. I don't like anything sweet. I like harsh, like cutting, vinegary kind of mustard.
What about on a burger?
Mustard.
Never put ketchup on it?
No, I don't like it. Secret sauce, maybe, if ketchup is part of that. But I will never put ketchup, really. I love the taste of, like, a hard cutting mustard. Shrewd.
Interesting. I like them together. I like a little
That's like
bit
a
of both.
secret. That's more, if you put mayo in, it's like a secret sauce.
Yeah.
Which is not so secret because I just named all of the
Everyone knows
ingredients.
it.
And people have been saying secret sauce for years, but it's not. But this is important, like, barbecue news for you guys. So they insulted, and I agree with you. I think this is Big Mustard. And what are some of the Big Mustard companies, Natalie? Big Mustard is just...
Golden. That's
Golden's.
a spicy brown.
Yeah, a spicy brown.
Grey Poupon.
I love Grey Poupon.
I like it too.
Yeah,
I
and I
like-
love the commercials. Remember the '80s commercials when the guy's in a car, and another car would pull up like a Rolls Royce, and
He just rolls down the
he
window.
goes, "Would you have any Grey Poupon?" He goes, "But of course." Isn't it amazing?
Also, what are they eating in the limo that they just have mustard?
Are they both limos?
I don't
Were they
think
both?
so. I'm not sure.
Cars?
Natalie's not going to know. She's too young.
Natalie's
I
not
don't know.
gonna-
I could look it up.
Grey Poupon.
French's
but of
is
course.
the other big
French's.
mustard brand.
Right.
Yeah, French's is a little lower echelon.
don't
Grey
like that one.
Poupon is expensive.
I like a
I mean,
stone.
it's really expensive.
Like the stone ground mustard.
No, I
That's
like
my,
that too.
That's my favorite. Like
But
at Bear
I don't.
Burger.
Is it sweet though? I don't like anything
Maybe.
sweet.
There's a little bit of sweetness to it.
We're stepping on Sal and Joe's
Oh,
toes right now
we
with
are.
with the food. But I agree. I just can I say something about our chosens out there? I love a kosher hot dog. Kosher hot dog makes me feel better than eating a regular hot dog because the big thing of hot dogs, you don't know what's in it.
Right.
You don't know what kind of meats are in it. And this is just, I'm sure at the conventions that you go to for vegans, this is like the hot dog is probably the topic. That's probably the closing day ceremony of like what's in a hot dog. You don't even know what you're eating.
Right.
But the Jews make sure they know what's in it. So I will eat a kosher hot dog. The other hot dogs, I'm not sure. And I'm sure the National Council of Hot Dogs and Sausages would have something to say about this.
I think you're right. And when I did eat meat, I also like the kosher ones. It's
Kosher
better.
is the
They have
best.
like also like a little bit of like a snap. If they don't have that like crunch like to the outside of
Yeah.
it, it's gross.
Yeah. And they really care about what's in it. Because you don't know. They could be putting anything in it. They
I don't
could
know.
put anything in it that they want.
I think you're giving a little too much credit to the kosher process because I think that really? I think so. Because I think that just means like you can't mix, there's no dairy in there because you can't mix dairy and meat. And then like it just has to be like blessed. So there could still be like
no, but there's a
ground
certain way.
rodents.
No, there's a certain way that the animal has to be killed.
Right. Oh,
he
yeah.
has
they
to be killed like
bleed it out.
painlessly. And therefore, if you know.
More that there's no pork.
There's
in
no
it.
pork. But you also have to know if you're killing the animal in a humane way, you have to know what animal you're killing. You can't just throw rat parts in there.
Yes, but can't you? Maybe they
No.
also drain the rats before they smush them up in there.
Smush them?
Yeah. They're just like draining the rats.
I don't know. That would be like very sinister, I think.
Is it more sinister than the killing of the pig?
Yeah.
A rat?
Putting rats in a hot dog unadvertised? If you're going to advertise, if you're going to be like, hey, this, just so you guys know, just a caution that there might be rodent parts in these hot dogs, then you've been warned. And if you want to, you know what I mean? Then it's fine. Like, it's not fine, but it's like you're at least telling people what's in it. But if you're just going to go, it's mystery meat, we don't know what's in it, everything's ground up, that's not right. You need to be explicit. And I trust that the Jews are not doing that. Okay. Now, on your part, who doesn't believe that Israel should exist, I don't know. You're doubting the kosher process, Shannon, and therefore the Jewish faith.
So here's my experience with the kosher world.
What's your experience with the kosher world, Shannon?
I have bartended events that were kosher events. And the strict ones, before the party started, there were only certain vodkas that we could serve. Mm-hmm. And the ones that we would serve, the rabbi would come behind the bar and bless the bottles.
Right.
So it's nothing different. They're just like saying magic words over a thing. Mm-hmm. And it's the same. It's like the same thing. That's why I'm thinking that with the hot dogs, it's still the same as everything else. You're just not mixing dairy. It's beef, so not pork. And it's still, I feel like, the same like garbage pieces as the other ones. But I don't know. It could be.
Do you think it's maybe it's not a good cow?
Maybe.
It's beef, but it's like a less desirable cow.
Like a bad cow.
Yeah, a bad cow.
That's better. Like
a mad cow. 45 minutes in, I think this is the time we should go to plugs. Thank you guys for watching the podcast. Thank you for listening. For those of you who can't afford computers, thank you for joining us on the YouTube premiere. I joined in last week, and I appreciated conversing with some of you. It's Wednesdays at 6 p.m. now, so hopefully that's more accessible to most of you guys. Wednesdays, 6 p.m. YouTube premiere. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and thank you for leaving your comments. It helps the algorithm. We appreciate you guys. Natalie, could you queue up any comments that are there? Because we want to shout them out and we want to read them. Also, I have dates coming up, MikeVecchione.com. I will be in Raleigh, North Carolina this week, Friday and Saturday, good nights. Stamford, Connecticut, this comes out tomorrow. So Stamford, Connecticut, July 6th, New York Comedy Club, Stamford. Raleigh, North Carolina, July 7th and 8th, good nights. Can't wait to do that club. And then Syracuse, New York, July 21st and 22nd at the Funny Bone. So Stamford, Connecticut, July 6th. Raleigh, North Carolina, July 7th and 8th. Syracuse, July 21st and 22nd. More dates, MikeVecchione.com, at Comic Mike V on all social media platforms. The special's been out for a few months now, 1.4 million we're at, so I appreciate you guys watching it. I appreciate you commenting. And also on the 800-Pound Gorilla page, which is the production company, we're at 128,000. So all total, we're over 1.5 million on the special. Thank you. I appreciate you. I love you. At Comic Mike V for all social media. Shannon.
By the way, if you haven't watched Mike's special and you're putting it off, you have to watch it because it's one of the best specials that came out this year. So
thank you, Shannon.
I mean it.
And that was unprompted.
It was. He didn't force me to.
I didn't force you to do it. Like jumping into a pool. Planned. We didn't do that.
You can follow me on Instagram at Shannon Lee 6982. Listen to my podcast, The Thing Is, Ding. We talk about bad dates, fighting, and ghosts. Me and Comic Mike Figs. We have guests come on and they tell their stories about a worst date experience, time they got to a street fight, and an experience with the paranormal. And so we're recording this. So by the time this comes out, our most recent episode will be the one with Lynn Koplitz. She's like a hilarious comedian, actress, and her episode is just amazing, especially like with paranormal stuff. So if you like that, check out that episode and all the other ones. I'll do the other stuff too. Wherever you listen to Mike Vecchione Investigates, you can also watch it live for free every single Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern at gasdigital.com/live. That's absolutely free. The best way to support the show is to go to gasdigital.com, use promo code MVI. You'll get a 1-week free trial, which gives you access to every single episode of this show that we've ever done, 120 episodes, as well as every episode of every show on the Gas Digital Network, all for free for 1 week. If you want to buy merch, t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, go to merchengine.com. If you have questions or comments or a video investigation to submit, send it in to MikeVecchioneInvestigates@gmail.com. And if you listen on iTunes, YouTube, wherever you listen, make sure to rate, review, leave a comment, tell a friend, subscribe. Every little bit of interaction helps the show to grow. That's it.
Natalie,
Natalie DeCicco edits on Instagram, DECICCO_edits, and watch Gas Digital now on YouTube. We talk about all the shows that came out on Gas Digital every week.
All right. And we're back, guys. Let's go to the next story, Natalie. And this one hits home. Hunter Biden filmed himself smoking crack behind the wheel, driving at 172 miles per hour on his way to Vegas. Your initial reaction to that, Shannon?
My initial reaction was Mike is going to love this.
Yeah. I have 3 words for you and the fans. Hot guy summer. Okay. Because this is amazing. He filmed himself. When was this, Natalie?
So I was a little bit misled by the title because it seems as if he was smoking crack and driving 172 miles an hour at the same time.
Which is hard to do. That's more of a math or speed.
But it says behind the wheel.
He took pictures of himself behind the wheel smoking crack.
Oh, I see.
On a different occasion than he was driving that speed.
Got it.
These all came out on his laptop, that the infamous laptop with all these pictures of him on it.
That's why he doesn't want people to see his laptop, because he's got pictures of him being awesome.
Which is funny because it seems like he's like, yeah, I did it. And he posts pictures of himself smoking crack all the time. So I don't know why he cares so much. Maybe there's other stuff on there.
Well, because his father's the president, maybe.
Right.
So imagine the fun stuff that is there. If this is the stuff that he posts on his own, imagine what he has hidden.
That's really true.
It's going to be amazing.
Do you think he's the president of a smaller country that's much more fun than our country?
That would be great.
If he was secretly the president of Crimea or another country that we rarely hear about?
Yeah, just
and
no rules.
No rules. It's just like, no, the rules are you have to drive 172 miles an hour and smoke crack.
Yes.
It seems like he's the president of the funnest country in the world.
I think so. Also, like, if you have this like money, why are you choosing the most garbage drug? Like, there's got to be like a more expensive, high class.
Wow, all of our listeners who are addicted to crack,
I'm
just
sorry.
shut the podcast off, Shannon. What higher echelon drug do you recommend for the Hunter Biden fans of the world?
I didn't mean to crack shame everybody.
He crack
I'm
shame,
so
Shannon.
sorry. So sorry.
And this guy has all his teeth. He looks great without a shirt on. It's almost an advertisement for crack. Do you think
true.
he
I
does?
think so.
He's driving a fast car. He's rich. Like, when I say crack, the idea is a poor person who's skinny, who's losing their teeth, who sells their TV, right? And he's like, do you think he's rebranding crack?
I think so. He's living his best life.
He's living his best life. Look at that smile. That could be all fake teeth.
I think it's fake.
I
But
was
like,
gonna
whatever.
say.
But that's a great picture of a guy who's just, I mean, he's handsome. I'll just say it. I'll just say he's handsome.
I wonder what's the word they blurred out on his T-shirt.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
is it the
important to
F word?
blur out a
I think
word on
so.
a T-shirt when someone's speeding and smoking crack.
I think it's the F word. I think it's be effing nice.
Oh.
That's cool too.
And that's a great message. Oh my
think so.
God. This guy has covered all of his bases.
He's really nailing it. They
He's
should leave him
really-
alone.
I think leave him alone also. You know?
I agree. Have you ever seen like people he's dated? Is he like dating the hottest chicks?
I can try to find that out.
Yeah. Please dig a little deeper into it.
I bet
And
he
what
is.
was the problem with him? What's his Instagram following also, Natalie? If he's posting pictures like this, I mean, people have to love it. And he went to some kind of function in a tux. Like, after all of this came out and he got sentenced, but he got a slap on the wrist. So, whatever.
The only thing that's come out about his dating life, apparently, that he's talking about, this is a little bit old, but he was dating his brother's widow,
Right.
which is
Oh,
not
boy.
so cute.
No, he did it as his brother's widow. And also, didn't he get a woman pregnant and she was coming back and she wanted the name Biden for her child? That was like a thing.
I don't know, but also like if you're gonna marry your brother's widow, isn't that like what they just used to do?
Yeah.
So you got to take care of her. Someone's got to do it.
That's right, Shannon. I mean, we're in the business of defending Hunter Biden here, it feels like. And it's like, that's what the best man was for. Traditional wedding ceremonies in the olden days, whereas because people would die unexpectedly and very young. So if the husband died, the best man would step in and marry the wife. That's why he was the best man.
Right.
He would step in.
And he's clearly the stronger brother because like he is doing crack and speeding on the highway.
Yeah.
And he's still doing great.
Yeah.
So he's like maybe he's the better of the brothers.
Well, the other brother has passed away, so I don't know
How
if
do
we
you
should.
think he died?
Well, I
He
don't
died
know.
in
We
a
should
cooler
dance on
way.
his
I'm sorry.
grave,
I'm not
Shannon.
dancing. It was more like a pro Hunter Biden thing.
But you make a great
Thank
point.
you.
Like he can speed into crack and break all of these laws. Natalie, do we know if he was wearing a seatbelt? Because I doubt he was wearing a seatbelt. Wouldn't that be great if he was wearing a seatbelt? It's like he's speeding and smoking crack, but he's taken the precaution of wearing a seatbelt.
He's not wearing one in that picture.
Okay.
That would be disappointing if he was wearing a seatbelt.
You think so?
I think so, yeah.
I think it's like, I think that guy's like a method to his madness. You're doing things that are risky, but you also are taking some kind of precautions. So it's all premeditated.
Would you say he is one of the dream guests for this show?
Hunter Biden,
Yeah.
John Hinckley Jr.,
Yes.
and the person responsible for the baby formula shortage.
Right. Oh, and Tom Brady.
I love Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I would have Tom Brady on.
Okay, those are 4. That's
I
the
would
wish
have
list.
And you know what else is? Who else I would have on? Paulie Malignaggi.
Oh, yes.
He's a boxing analyst, but he's great. I mean, he's just unbelievable. I love him.
Okay, that's a wish list.
That's a wish list.
We should get on it.
John Hinckley Jr., Hunter Biden,
Yep.
Paulie Malignaggi, and Tom Brady.
And baby formula shortage person.
And the person responsible, the Abbott company,
yes.
the baby formula shortage. Yeah, which we don't know if there still is one. We didn't. It's out of the news now, so I assume babies they're either eating or they're just starving, and no one's talking about
I
it.
think the last time I looked it up, wasn't there an issue of like a tainted, like the powdered formula was
Right.
tainted or something?
Yeah.
So it's still not it's not going great.
It's not going that great. But that's got nothing to do with Hunter Biden.
no.
He didn't do it.
No.
I mean, if the media had its way, they would lump this baby formula into the Hunter Biden story and be like, his laptop was how to prevent baby formula from coming into the country.
Right.
I mean, the media really wants to make him a villain. He's just a guy who wants to smoke cigarettes in a bathtub with his shirt off.
I think they're jealous.
And I think it's because he's sexy.
Mm-hmm.
He's really sexy. Do
Yeah.
you find him attractive?
No, it's not my type at all. But
Because he's not beefy enough.
Yeah.
But he's kind of shredded.
Yeah, that's not my thing. He's like crack skinny,
Yeah.
and that's not my thing. But he's not a bad looking. He's like a classically handsome, maybe.
Risk taker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not terrible. I wonder how many fights he gets into.
Probably a lot.
Probably
A lot, but he has his security probably take care of it, which is a
Oh,
turn
yeah.
off for you.
I don't like that. Maybe I'll check on the security team,
Yeah.
see what's going on over there.
Would you swipe left on Hunter Biden?
Left is no, right? Yeah, no. Left is no.
Yes, left is no.
I would swipe no.
Oh, you'd swipe no on Hunter.
Yeah.
But you support his lifestyle in general.
He's killing
I
it.
do too. I think he's killing it too. I think he's doing awesome. Natalie, what's more to? Is there anything more to this story?
There's also a story in here. This is just sort of a compilation of stuff they
Compilation?
found out from his
Laptop. Because they have the laptop.
Yeah.
And they gave him a slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
There's no jail time.
There was also a story about him having a hot tub party with a bunch of women.
I bet they're models.
I bet
Yeah.
they're models too. I think I've seen the picture in the post.
They are described as
Voluptuous?
I don't know if they use the word hookers, but that's kind of how they're
right.
presented here.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
They're hooking?
Yeah.
No, actually, it just says multiple women.
Multiple women.
But the one girl
And
says,
women don't have to be hookers, Natalie.
No, you're right.
Okay,
Just
women
'cause-
can be astronauts.
Just because a woman says, quote, I don't have a bathing suit and I really wanted to wear a cute bathing suit, but I don't have any money, so then I'm just going to have to go naked. That doesn't necessarily mean that she's a hooker.
That girl sounds like a lot of fun,
She
doesn't
sounds like
she,
a
Shannon?
party.
Yes, and if that is their profession, it's okay to be a sex worker.
Yes. We
He's
shouldn't
supporting
shame
them.
sex workers.
He's supporting sex workers.
Yes. And if you want to, sometimes there's a hot tub there and you're not, and you didn't know there was a hot tub before you came to the party. Would you ever do that, Shannon? Would you ever get naked and just get in the hot tub?
I mean,
Because it's like you want to go swimming and you didn't bring your bathing suit and you're in a little bit of a quandary.
is it like if I'm like with the girls?
And there's guys there too, yes.
I guess there is a situation where maybe enough drinks are involved.
Is there a
I-
world where you do that?
I guess so, but it's
Yes.
probably not going to happen. But also, it's like, what are you going to do? Are you going to be left out and not have fun?
Yeah.
Are you going to wear all your clothes?
Yeah.
Or are you going to go naked? And naked is kind of the only option.
Naked is kind of the only option. You heard it here from Shannon first, okay? And what if you're a girl and you go into the hot tub naked and you want to hook up with a guy, but then you sit on one of those jets and you realize that you don't need a man anymore.
Or it could
And
just
then
like,
you just take the hot tub home.
or it could like warm you up
Yes.
for
Right.
the guy, make it easy for
I
him.
like what you said better.
Have you ever gone skinny dipping?
Yes. I think I have, but not at like a gigantic party, just with like a girlfriend.
In
Yeah.
the ocean?
In the ocean, in a pool, both.
Same time?
No. How do you go to
No, like
How
same
do you go to
trip.
an ocean and a pool at the same time?
You can do one then the other.
Oh, no. I didn't do that. It was separate occasions.
Okay.
In a pool and in the ocean.
You're a party. You're just like Hunter Biden.
I'm just like Hunter Biden in that respect. Thank you for illuminating that, Shannon. Because I think we kind of secretly want to be Hunter Biden. You and me both.
I need to like not have a care in the world and
No.
have money for all these drugs.
No,
and
and you know what the
ladies.
thing is? He should have a care in the world. Like Obama's daughters watch what they do.
Right.
Like Chelsea Clinton watches what she did. The Bush daughters watch what they do. This guy is like, I'm playing by my own rules, president or no president. And do you think that other countries like North Korea see that and they go, I'm going to hesitate before I mess with the United States of America because the first son is unhinged?
Is this a gender disparity?
It could be.
Because all of the other people you mentioned are women.
Yes.
And he's the only guy. So he's allowed to just be a crazy pants and all the girls have to watch everything they do.
The girls naturally are watching everything that they do. They have the right to go skinny dipping.
I guess.
But they don't choose to do it. This is
Didn't the-
America and there's freedom.
I feel like the Bush girls got a little crazy,
Yeah.
right? Like getting drunk and stuff like
But
that.
that was before social media.
right.
So it's like we couldn't see
Yes.
any of that.
And they probably weren't posting pictures of themselves. Yeah.
No, they weren't. Not like Hunter
No.
is.
He owns
and
it.
he's pretty old too. He's like older.
Yeah. He's
How old
owning
is-
it though.
He is owning it.
Maybe
How-
45. That's my guess. I don't know the
Yeah.
answer.
I think he seems like a little bit like my age.
Do you know Natalie?
He's 53.
Oh,
Oh my God, he's older than me.
wow.
Oh my God. And he's really getting it in.
Good for him.
I bet he's not a vegan. Just a guess.
It's probably not. No, he's probably just mowing down animals on
That would
his,
be
in
a
his
really
car.
that would be a really funny place to draw the line where he does crack, but it has like a clean eating lifestyle.
Yes, he just really loves animals. That would be great.
All right, let's go to the last one. Scammers are targeting parents by using AI to clone their children's voices, then calling with fake emergencies and raising ransoms.
This is a crazy
There's
one.
a lot of elements to this.
Yeah. So, I feel like specifically with older people, like grandparents and stuff, I know it's, like the text
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they can be tricked
scams.
quickly.
Yeah. And it's like with things that like maybe not you, Mike, because I know you got recently on your Instagram, but usually,
No, I'm afraid to click on anything that I don't know.
and you should be, but there are like texts that will come in and it's like, I saw your porn history or whatever, and here's proof that I know who you are because here's your address. So give me $2,000 or I'm gonna send your dick pics from your phone or something like that, And like people are now getting used to that. But now even if anybody answers the phone and they hear what sounds like a family member's voice screaming and yelling in the background saying, please help me, who has like the wherewithal to be like, let me figure out if this is true first or not.
Right.
Because what they're doing is, what I saw in one particular story is that a girl was away with like her school on a school trip, so she wasn't there. And then they used, there was like a 10-minute clip of the girl doing an interview at school. So they used her voice from that. And then they created a clip that they played for the mother when they called her. And it's like, Mom, I'm sorry, I really messed up. Like, I really need your help. And her screaming and crying. And she was able to find out because she like saw pictures of her like at the school and then she like figured it out. But if like your mom or girlfriend or something called you and you hear the screaming, even if it was an unknown number, would you have the wherewithal to be like, let me figure out if this is real or not?
Right.
It's crazy.
Well, now I would.
Still now, just
But
like,
before that, it's like kidnapped by who? Who do they say they are? A rogue political group? I mean, is it if it's in the news that rogue groups are going around kidnapping women and children and whatever, it's like, oh, I would have seen that in the paper, but there's no news of that.
right. I don't know that. I think it's just like they play the clip and it's like, please, Mom, I need your help. Please send this money or whatever.
It's jolting.
Yeah.
And
And
you
I
need
just,
the wherewithal to be like, try to negotiate it down a little bit.
The example that's used in the article is this guy talks about how his grandparents received a phone call that sounded like him, telling them that he had been in a terrible car crash and needed money immediately.
Oh my God. They're using the voices. The AI is evil.
It is.
And they're using the voices in order to get people to give money.
Yeah, like, and then you have to
get their loved one back.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fake kidnapping.
yeah. And then you have to like override your emotions in that moment to
Yeah.
figure it out. So scary.
That's very scary because it's testing the love. And then what if you don't pay and you do your due diligence and then you go, did you actually love me at all?
Or what about real kidnappers, where now they're just trying to do their kidnapping job, but no one believes them?
It's the hardest on the real kidnappers.
They're the victims.
Because they're going through all of the trouble to actually kidnap. And these AIs are doing it like a fake kidnapping.
Yeah, they're doing all the work.
It's fraud. It's fraud for kidnappers. The kidnappers should be really mad at this.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's hurting their business.
It
Or
is
they
hurting
can
their
or they
business.
can switch their business over. Maybe they can just like adapt the new technology.
We all have to do it.
Yeah.
Do you think, like, because of older people are being targeted, that older people are getting served up because of, like, in the olden days, and Natalie, you can chime in here because this is about fables. Like Hansel and Gretel would go into the forest and there would be like a fake, like a grandmother who gets them and like, throws them into the oven.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that Hansel and Gretel? Okay, so now instead of the young people, like the Hansels and the Gretels of the world, are getting back at older people
Maybe.
by fake kidnapping their grandchildren.
Maybe. I mean, do you think there were that many Hansels and Gretels?
And that was for that to be a fable. That must have been happening all the time.
Yes,
I think for that to be like a story where people are like, yeah, I can relate to that. Send your kids into the woods and they get tricked into going to a house and then they're shoved into the oven. I get it.
Candy houses in the woods all over the place.
Candy houses in the woods. You got to be aware. That's a signal, like when things get too good and you're like, oh, this is too good to be true. It probably is.
Yes.
You know? And when I'm unfamiliar with, I'm sorry, Natalie, but Hansel and Gretel, was that their grandmother?
No,
No,
it
it
was
was
a
a
witch.
witch.
It
in
was
the
a
forest.
witch who was posing as the grandmother. Yes,
I think
the witch was posing as the grandmother, lures
That's
them
Little Red
in,
Riding
throws
Hood.
them in the oven. I'm confusing them.
Yes, it's
Yeah, I
Little Red
don't-
Riding Hood.
I don't think
No,
there's a grandma
Red Riding Hood
involved
was
at
a
all.
wolf.
Just disguising himself as the grandmother.
Right, but
Yeah.
Hansel and Gretel,
Just a witch. But
Just a
a
witch.
witch, but not like, she wasn't overtly scary.
Yeah.
And she lured them in because they were lost in the woods. They
Mm-hmm.
couldn't find their breadcrumbs to get back. And then they go into the candy house and she's like, oh, yay, like lots of food and candy. And then fattens them up.
fattens them up.
Yes.
I
You
think
never-
the moral is more don't talk to strangers.
Don't talk to strangers. And don't use breadcrumbs to try to find your way out of a forest because the animals will eat the breadcrumbs and then you'll be lost.
Or is it anti-gluttony?
It's low carb.
Because if they wouldn't have stuffed themselves, she wouldn't have wanted to eat them.
Yeah, but they're children. Do they know the difference? And I guess that's the story for other children. These children were the sacrificial lambs to teach other children, hey, you know, you don't go into a house made of candy. If it's too good to be true, it probably is.
Right.
So don't indulge yourself. Like, be a little bit cautious. Maybe ask some questions
Yeah.
before you're led into a house and be giving all kinds of candy that you're not allowed to
Yeah.
normally have.
No carbs, no sugar.
No carbs, no
Yeah,
sugar.
that's the
Because if you eat carbs, if you eat sugar, and
someone's going to eat you.
yes,
We're teaching lessons.
we're really teaching. This should be a show that's shown in public schools.
I think so.
I think so too,
We
Shannon.
just break down a different fable
I
every
think we're
week.
onto something. We take fables, we break them down.
I like it.
We're over time, and I can't thank you enough for coming in, Shannon, because this was a great episode, and I think that fans wanted this.
It was fun. Thank you
They
for
were
having
asking
me.
for it.
I just want to apologize because I didn't realize that I was going to be a guest today, so I didn't bring my makeup or my glasses, so everyone just has to look at me.
I'll speak for
as
the
is.
fans.
I'm
I think
sorry.
you look beautiful.
Thank you, Mike, but I'm sorry.
No apology necessary. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I think it was a great episode because, you know, as a producer, number one, we both had a great episode, I think.
I think
We
you had a
played
good
off of
episode.
each other very well, and we really got to the bottom of some of these issues.
You did.
Who would have saw the mermaid in the first one? That was a crazy reveal.
That's my
And you
favorite.
guys must have just dropped your Cheetos on that one into your couch. How do you think Natalie did as a producer?
I think she did great.
So do I. I think she did a great job. She was
did.
on target with all of that, and I think it's because she had a great teacher.
Would you say I did enough air horns or not enough air
I
horns?
think it was a beautiful dispersion of air horns.
Thank you.
Agreed.
We're going to have to look at the graph later of the air horn distribution. But I think it was Natalie, thank you for stepping in.
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Shannon, thank you for stepping up.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for listening, subscribing, and liking. Our numbers are up. You're the reason. We love you. We'll see you next week. Guys, thank you for listening to Mike Vecchione Investigates. And if you go to gasdigitalnetwork.com and use promo code MBI, you will get 1 week free. That's gasdigitalnetwork.com, promo code MBI, you will get 1 week free. Thank you again for listening to Mike Vecchione Investigates on the Gas Digital Network.